before the story begins. If you enjoy chilling American horror audio stories, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new stories every night. And now listen.
Tonight, I want to tell you about a place that doesn't appear on any map. A stretch of wilderness so remote that even locals avoid talking about it. The kind of place where people go to disappear. And sometimes they do. I grew up in the Midwest, rural America, the kind of towns where everyone knows your truck before they know your name. So when my friend Tyler suggested a camping trip far out into the mountains, I didn't think much of it. He said it was quiet, undisturbed, real wilderness, he called it. We drove for hours. Highways turned into two-lane roads. Two-lane roads turned into gravel. Eventually, even the gravel disappeared. The last gas station we passed had a single pump and flickering lights. An old man sat inside, watching us through dirty glass. "You headed up there?" he asked. Tyler nodded. The old man didn't smile. "Don't stay after dark." That was all he said. The road climbed higher. Trees grew closer. Mountains swallowed the horizon. Cell service vanished. Then radio. Then time itself felt off. By the time we parked, the sun was already sinking behind the ridgeline. The air was thin, cold, still. No wind, no birds, just the sound of our boots crunching gravel. We set up camp in a small clearing between the trees. It looked like others had been there before, but not recently. The fire pit was old, stones stacked carefully, too carefully. I noticed something else. There were no trails leading out, no paths, just forest. Tyler laughed it off. "People don't come out here much," he said. That night, the darkness felt heavier than it should have. The fire barely pushed it back. Around midnight, the forest changed. At first, it was subtle. The silence deepened. Then came the sound. Metal, not clanking, not scraping, dragging, slowly, somewhere up the slope. Tyler stopped talking. I stared into the trees. The sound moved in a straight line, like something being pulled downhill. I stood up, shined my flashlight. Nothing, but the sound stopped, exactly when the light hit the trees. We didn't sleep much that night. When morning came, we found something at the edge of camp. An object, half buried in dirt, rusty, bent, a metal road sign. No writing, no paint, just holes where letters used to be, and fresh marks in the dirt, leading back into the forest. Tyler swallowed hard. "Let's hike up the ridge," he said. "Get a view. Figure out where we are." We packed light, left most of our gear behind. As we climbed higher, the trees thinned. The wind picked up, and then we saw it. Another clearing, larger, and filled with things that didn't belong there. We stood there longer than we should have. That second clearing didn't feel accidental. It felt arranged. There were tents, old ones, sun-bleached fabric hanging loose, collapsed poles, rotted rope. This wasn't one campsite. It was many, spread out in a loose circle, all facing inward. Tyler stepped forward first. I stayed back. In the center of the clearing was a fire pit, much larger than ours. Rings of stone stacked neatly, too neatly. Blackened layers told a story of many fires. Not recent, but not ancient either. Around the pit lay objects. Shoes without pairs, a child's backpack, an empty flashlight with the lens cracked. None of it looked destroyed, just left behind. "People camp here," Tyler said, trying to sound normal, but his voice cracked at the end. I noticed something else. No food wrappers, no trash, just absence. I picked up the backpack. It was light, empty, except for a name written inside with marker. Emily. We didn't say it out loud, but we both thought the same thing. Families don't abandon camps like this. The wind shifted, carrying a smell. Smoke, old smoke, burned into the ground itself. Tyler suddenly froze. "Do you hear that?" he asked. At first, I didn't. Then I did. Footsteps, far away, higher up the slope. Not approaching, not retreating, just pacing. We backed out of the clearing slowly. The moment the trees swallowed the view, the sound stopped. When we finally reached our clearing, My stomach dropped. Our camp had been touched, not destroyed, adjusted. Our packs had been moved closer together. Our fire pit rearranged. Stones stacked differently. Someone had improved it. There were footprints, several, different sizes, all around the perimeter. Tyler whispered, "We leave now." I nodded. We grabbed what we could. As we started downhill, I realized something terrifying. The slope didn't match my memory. It felt steeper, longer. We should have reached the road by now. Instead, the trees thickened. We came across another object, a wooden sign, old, hand-carved, no words, just symbols, deeply etched, repeated. They looked less like warnings and more like tallies. By late afternoon, we heard voices. Men, close. We ducked behind trees. Through the brush, I saw them. For men, local, weathered. They moved comfortably. One of them stopped suddenly, looked straight toward us. Even though we hadn't made a sound, he smiled. Not friendly, knowing. "Long way from anywhere," he said. Tyler stepped out. "Hey," he said, "we're lost." The man nodded slowly. "Happens," he replied, "especially up here." Another man glanced behind us. "You shouldn't stay after dark." "Can you show us the road?" Tyler asked. One of them shook his head. "No road," he said. "Not anymore." Then he stepped aside, gesturing uphill. "But you can camp," he added. "Safer that way." I grabbed Tyler's arm. "We're not camping." The men didn't block us. They just watched. As we walked away, I heard one speak. "Won't make it before night." By the time darkness fell, we realized the truth. We weren't hiking through wilderness. We were moving through someone's territory. We didn't want to stop, but the mountain decided for us. By the time the sun dipped behind the ridgeline, our legs were shaking. Every step felt heavier than the last. The forest grew darker faster than it should have. Tyler finally stopped walking. "We can't keep going blind," he said. "We'll break an ankle." I hated that he was right. We found a small clearing just off a rocky slope, barely big enough for a tent. The ground was packed down, flat, too flat. Someone had camped there before, recently. We didn't talk about it. We just worked, fast, quiet. As soon as the tent was up, I felt it again. That pressure, like being watched. I turned slowly, scanning the tree line. Nothing moved, but I knew we weren't alone. Night came fully. The darkness was complete. No moon, no stars, just black shapes where trees should be. We didn't light a fire, didn't dare. We ate cold food in silence. That's when the noises started. Not all at once, one at a time. A twig snapping, dirt shifting, the faint sound of fabric brushing bark, always just outside the light of our headlamps. Tyler whispered, "They're not hiding." He was right. They weren't trying to scare us. They were letting us know. Hours passed. Then footsteps approached. Slow, unhurried, confident. A shape stopped just beyond the edge of our camp. A man's voice spoke from the darkness. "Camp's not set right," he said calmly. I froze. "You'll want it facing east," he continued. "Wind changes after midnight." Tyler's hands trembled. "We didn't ask for help," he said. The man chuckled softly. "No," he replied, "but you'll take it." Another shape stepped forward. Then another. 4 of them. Same men from earlier. They stayed just far enough away that the darkness hid their faces. "You can stay tonight," the first man said. "After that, we'll see." I felt something cold crawl up my spine. "Why are you doing this?" I asked. Silence. Then he answered. "Because people pass through," he said, "and some don't." They turned, walked back into the trees. Not a single branch snapped as they left. Tyler exhaled sharply. "They could have taken us," he whispered. "Yes," I said, "and they didn't." That scared me more than anything else. We stayed inside the tent. Didn't sleep. Sometime after midnight, I heard whispering. Not close, not far. Circling. Different voices. Low. Measured. Then laughter. Quiet. Contained. At dawn, the forest felt wrong. Too calm. Too orderly. We stepped out of the tent. Something had been added to our camp. A small pile of stones. Stacked carefully. In a line. each stone marked with a scratch. Tallies. Counting. Tyler swallowed hard. "What are they counting?" he asked. I didn't answer. I already knew. We packed quickly, heart pounding. As we started down the slope, I heard movement behind us. Not following. Positioning. That's when it became clear. They weren't keeping us here. They were guiding us. Toward something. We walked downhill for hours. No trail. No markers. Just the forest opening where it wanted us to go. Every time we tried to change direction, the terrain turned hostile. Loose rock, steep drops, thick brush that tore at our clothes. But when we followed the natural slope, the way cleared. That's when Tyler said it. "They're hurting us." I didn't respond, because admitting it out loud would have made it real. By mid-morning, we reached a valley, hidden between two ridges. The air down there felt heavier, stale. The trees thinned, and then suddenly, they were gone. The valley opened into a wide clearing. Not natural, flattened, cleared, worked. Cabins stood scattered across the field, rough-built, weathered. Smoke curled from one chimney. My heart sank. This wasn't a campsite. This was a community. People moved between the structures. Men, women, children. No one looked surprised to see us. A man stepped forward, older than the others. Gray beard, sun-lettered skin. "You made it," he said. I felt sick. Tyler whispered, "They expected us." The man gestured calmly. "You're safe here," he said, "as long as you understand something." "What?" I asked. "No one leaves." A woman approached Tyler, handed him a cup of water. He took it automatically, hands shaking. "Why?" he asked. The man glanced toward the forest. "Because the outside world doesn't come looking," he said. "And up here, we manage our own problems." I noticed fences then. Not tall, not obvious. Placed strategically, using terrain. Every exit was covered. "You can stay," the man continued, "or you can try to go." "And if we try?" I asked. He smiled gently. "People who try don't make it far." They gave us a cabin. No lock, no guard. Didn't need one. That night, we learned the truth. A woman sat with us, spoke quietly. She said she'd come up here years ago, with friends, got lost, found the valley. At first, it felt safe, she said. Food, shelter, rules. "What rules?" Tyler asked. She looked away. "Don't talk about leaving," she said. "Don't wander at night. And don't ask about the ones who disappear." My stomach tightened. "Disappear how?" I asked. "They're sent back into the forest," she replied. "Sometimes injured, sometimes not." "Why?" Tyler whispered. "To keep the balance," she said. Later that night, I heard screaming. Short, muffled, then silence. In the morning, one cabin stood empty. Door open. Inside, nothing. Tyler grabbed my arm. "We leave today," he said. I nodded. But someone was already watching us. And they knew. We weren't planning to stay. By the third morning, none of us pretended this was just bad luck anymore. The woods had made a decision, and it wasn't on our side. We packed in silence. No breakfast, no fire, just the sound of zippers and shaking hands. The trail was gone. Again, where it should have been, there was nothing but untouched undergrowth. Branches woven together like they'd grown that way. "We walk anyway," Mark said. "Straight line. East." We started cutting through the woods. The forest fought back immediately. Thorns snagged our clothes. Roots tripped us. After 20 minutes, I noticed something that made my stomach sink. We passed the same tree twice. A dead oak with a split trunk. One side burned black by an old lightning strike. "We're walking in circles," I said. "No," Ethan snapped. "We're not." But his voice lacked conviction. That's when we heard it. A vehicle. An engine. Close. We ran toward the sound, crashing through brush. Hope surged for the first time in hours. And then we broke through the trees. Onto the highway. Or what should have been the highway. The asphalt was cracked. Overgrown. No lane markings. No tire tracks. It looked old. And used. A pickup truck was parked on the shoulder. Engine idling. Driver's door open. "Hello," Mark shouted. No answer. I woke up freezing. The ground beneath me was hard and damp. My clothes were stiff with dirt and blood. For a moment, I didn't remember where I was. Then I remembered Tyler, the ridge, the fall. I sat up too fast and nearly passed out. My body screamed in protest. Every muscle felt torn. I staggered to my feet and started walking. No direction, just downhill. I walked until my legs gave out. Then I rested. Then I walked again. Time lost meaning. Hunger gnawed at me. Thirst burned my throat. Late that afternoon, I found a creek. Clear water. Cold. I drank until my stomach cramped. That's when I saw it. A footprint. Fresh. Not mine. It faced the same direction I was headed. My chest tightened. As evening approached, I heard something that made my blood run cold. A bell. Metal. Distant. The same sound that gathered the valley. No, I whispered. I climbed the embankment, desperate to put distance between me and the sound. That's when I saw the trail. A real one. Packed dirt. Broken branches. Hope surged. I followed it until I reached a clearing. My heart sank. Another campsite. Not abandoned. Maintained. A fire pit. Fresh ash. A log bench. Someone lived here. I turned to leave. A voice spoke behind me. You're a long way from the road. I spun around. A man stood there. Alone. Older. Beard streaked with gray. A rifle slung over his shoulder. I recognized him. One of the men from the valley. I left, I said. I'm not going back. He nodded slowly. I know, he replied. That's why I'm here. Why didn't you stop me? I asked. He studied me. Because someone always has to leave, he said. Otherwise, people start asking questions. The words sank in slowly. You let people escape, I said. Sometimes, he answered. When the forest takes enough. He gestured toward the trees. You can keep going, but it won't be fast. Or I can make sure you don't wander back. I realized then, this wasn't freedom. It was release. I nodded. He stepped aside. I walked past him. He didn't follow, but I felt his eyes on me for a long time after. Night fell again. I walked until exhaustion claimed me. When I finally slept, I dreamed of bells, of tallies, of Tyler standing at the edge of the ridge, counting. Night fell without warning. Inside the structure, there was no way to tell time. No windows, no cracks of light, just darkness and breathing. Mark was barely conscious. His breathing came in short, wet gasps. Ethan knelt beside him, pressing down on the wound with shaking hands. I sat against the wall, listening. Outside, the settlement didn't sleep. Footsteps passed by. Voices murmured. Someone laughed. Normal sounds. Domestic sounds. After a while, the door opened. Light spilled in. Carl stood there. Alone. You get one chance, he said. He looked at Mark, then at us. The forest doesn't like waste. He unlatched the door and stepped aside. Run, he said, but don't stop. We didn't hesitate. Ethan lifted Mark as best he could. I grabbed his other side. We staggered into the trees. No one chased us. No shouts. No alarms. Just silence. That scared me more than anything else. We ran until our lungs burned. Branches tore at our skin. Roots sent us crashing to the ground. Mark slowed us down. Blood soaked through his clothes. I can't, he whispered. We heard something then. Not footsteps. Breathing. Close. Surrounding us. Figures emerged between the trees. Not rushing. Not hiding. Just appearing. Carl's voice came from behind us. Not him, he said. Hands grabbed Mark. Firm. Final. Mark screamed. Once. Then he was gone. Ethan tried to fight. They knocked him down easily. Someone leaned close to me. Go, they whispered. And they pushed me. Hard. I fell forward. Rolled. Hit the ground. I didn't remember crossing the road. I just remember collapsing. When I woke up, I was staring at fluorescent lights. The hum of electricity. The smell of disinfectant. A hospital. A sheriff came later. Asked questions. Took notes. When I told him Tyler didn't make it out, he nodded slowly. Search and rescue will look, he said. But his eyes told me something else. They wouldn't find anything. The official report said we got lost. Said panic did the rest. They closed the case. Days passed, then weeks. I returned home. Clean clothes, warm showers, soft beds. One night, I received a package. No return address. Inside was my old backpack. Clean, repaired. Inside the pocket, a small wooden piece. Carved, scratched. One tally mark. My hands shook. I threw it away, burned it, but I kept seeing it. On fence posts, on trail signs, on gas station bathroom walls. One mark. Weeks later, I drove that highway again. I didn't plan to. I just realized I'd taken the wrong exit. There was a new sign, brown, unassuming. Primitive camping area, no facilities. The forest behind it was dense, quiet, waiting. I didn't stop, but as I drove past, I saw movement between the trees. And someone raised a hand, not to wave, to count. 1, then 2, then 3. I kept driving. Some places don't need fences. They just need patience. And people who wander, the forest remembers. And it always keeps something behind. And remember,
Do you believe this story is true or just a legend? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Every interaction helps the channel grow and bring you even more horror stories.